Aren't you afraid of me? Before we dive into this incredible story, drop a comment below and let us know where in the world you're watching from. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your screen right now so you never miss our inspiring stories. Ethan Caldwell's voice sliced through the darkness of his Seattle mansion study, sharp and commanding. His piercing green eyes bore into her from his wheelchair, cold and unforgiving. Lyanna Carter, a 26-year-old black single mother, stood her ground. She met his intimidating gaze without flinching, her voice steady and defiant. "I don't scare easily, Mr. Caldwell. I'm here to work." This is where our story begins, a powerful tale of courage, unexpected love, and breaking through walls of prejudice in the shadowed halls of the Caldwell estate. Lyanna was desperate. With her 7-year-old daughter Isla depending on her, she couldn't afford to be picky about jobs. When the employment agency offered her a position at the Caldwell mansion, they warned her the previous 5 housekeepers had all quit within weeks. The pay was exceptional, but the employer was impossible. Ethan Caldwell was once Seattle's most brilliant tech entrepreneur, a self-made billionaire whose innovations had revolutionized the industry. But a devastating car accident 2 years ago had stolen more than his ability to walk. It had taken his fiancée's life and left him bitter, angry, and isolated from the world. His family didn't make things easier. On Lyanna's very first day, she encountered Ethan's mother, Victoria Caldwell, a woman whose elegance was matched only by her cruelty. "You're the new help." Victoria's eyes scanned Lyanna with undisguised disdain. "Well, I suppose beggars can't be choosers. My son refuses to leave this house, so we must make do with whatever walks through the door." The racist undertones weren't lost on Lyanna, but she needed this job. She simply nodded and continued with her duties. Ethan's younger brother, Marcus, was no better. Where Victoria was coldly dismissive, Marcus was openly hostile, making inappropriate comments and constantly questioning Lyanna's presence in their family home. But Lyanna had survived worse. As a single mother who'd fought through poverty, discrimination, and an abusive relationship to build a life for her daughter, she wasn't about to let the Caldwell family intimidate her. What surprised her was Ethan himself. Yes, he was difficult, moody, demanding, and often cruel with his words. But Lyanna began to notice the cracks in his armor. The way his jaw tightened when his mother made her cutting remarks. The sadness that flickered across his face when he thought no one was watching. The gentleness in his voice during the rare phone calls with his younger sister, Claire, who lived abroad. Slowly, something shifted between them. It started with small moments. Lyanna bringing him coffee exactly as he liked it without being told. Ethan actually saying thank you one morning, the words seeming to surprise even himself. A brief conversation about books when she noticed the untouched volumes lining his study walls. One rainy afternoon, Lyanna found Ethan struggling to reach a file from his wheelchair, his face red with frustration and humiliation. "May I help?" she asked simply, without pity. He wanted to refuse, she could see it in his eyes. But finally, he nodded. As she handed him the file, their hands touched briefly. The moment lasted only a second, but something electric passed between them. "Why are you still here?" Ethan asked quietly. "The others all left. My mother is horrible to you. I'm not easy to work for." Lyanna met his eyes. "I've faced worse than a difficult employer and a prejudiced family, Mr. Caldwell. Besides, I see more than what you show the world." "And what do you see?" "Someone who's in pain. Someone who's lost. But also someone who's still in there, fighting to get out." From that day forward, their relationship deepened. Ethan began to emerge from his shell, sharing stories of his life before the accident, his dreams, his regrets. Lyanna shared her own struggles, raising Isla alone, escaping her daughter's abusive father, fighting to give her child a better life. They found comfort in each other's honesty. But as Ethan and Lyanna grew closer, the Caldwell family's hostility intensified. Victoria's remarks became more vicious. Marcus's interference more aggressive. Then one evening, little Isla got sick. Lyanna had no choice but to bring her daughter to work, planning to leave early. She settled ILA in the staff quarters, but the feverish 7-year-old wandered into Ethan's study, curious and disoriented. Lyanna rushed in to find Ethan and ILA talking quietly. He'd pulled up a documentary about space on his computer, and ILA was watching with wide, wonder-filled eyes. She said she wants to be an astronaut, Ethan said with the first genuine smile Lyanna had ever seen on his face. That's a pretty big dream. Dreams are all we have sometimes, Lyanna replied softly. Watching Ethan interact with her daughter with such unexpected kindness, Lyanna felt her carefully guarded heart begin to open. The feelings between them were undeniable now, but neither spoke of them. The barriers seemed too high: his wealth, her poverty, his white privilege, her experience of racism, his powerful family, her vulnerability as a single mother. Everything came to a head when Lyanna accidentally uncovered a devastating secret. While organizing Ethan's office, she found documents revealing that Marcus had been embezzling from the company for over a year, hiding behind Ethan's withdrawal from the business. More shocking still, Victoria knew and had been helping cover it up, planning to have Ethan declared mentally incompetent to take full control. Lyanna knew bringing this to Ethan could cost her everything. The family would turn their full fury on her. She could lose her job, face legal retaliation, even risk Isla's safety. But she also couldn't stand by and watch him be betrayed by his own blood. "Ethan, there's something you need to see," she said, her hands trembling as she placed the documents before him. His face went white as he read, then flushed with fury. "How long have you known?" "I found them today. I brought them straight to you." He looked at her for a long moment. "You could have walked away. Pretended you never saw this." "No," Lyanna said firmly. "I couldn't. You deserve the truth." The confrontation with his family was explosive. Victoria and Marcus denied everything until faced with irrefutable evidence. Threats were made, lawyers called. Through it all, Lyanna stood by Ethan's side. "You destroyed this family," Victoria shrieked at Lyanna. "You came into our home and poisoned my son's mind." "No," Ethan's voice rang out clear and strong. "You did that yourselves. Lyanna showed me the truth. She's shown me more integrity, loyalty, and courage than anyone in this family ever has." In the weeks that followed, Marcus faced criminal charges. Victoria was removed from all company positions. Ethan began the painful process of rebuilding his business and his life. And through it all, his feelings for Lyanna only grew stronger. But Lyanna was afraid. She'd been hurt before by a man who'd promised love and delivered pain. And Ethan's world was so far from hers. How could she fit into it? How could she protect ILA from the judgment and prejudice that would surely come? One evening, as Seattle's lights glittered beyond the mansion windows, Ethan called Lyanna into his study. "I need to tell you something," he began, looking more vulnerable than she'd ever seen him. "These past months with you have changed everything. You've given me back something I thought I'd lost forever: hope. Purpose. The desire to actually live again, not just exist." Lyanna's heart raced. "Ethan, I know all the reasons this doesn't make sense," he continued. "I know the world will judge us. I know my family has treated you abhorrently. I know I'm still figuring out who I am after everything. But I also know that I'm in love with you, Lyanna. Completely. Irrevocably." Tears streamed down her face. "I'm terrified." "So am I," he admitted. "But I'm more terrified of losing you. Of not taking this chance. You've taught me that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it." "I'm a black single mother working as your housekeeper," Lyanna said, her voice breaking. "The world is going to say terrible things. Your social circle will reject you. There will be people who can't see past the color of my skin. Then they can't see what matters," Ethan said fiercely. "I love you. I love ILA. And I want to build a life with both of you, if you'll have me. Not because I'm trying to save you, you don't need saving. You're the strongest person I know. but because we're better together than apart. Lyanna thought of all she'd overcome, all the battles she'd fought, all the times she'd been told she wasn't enough. Then she looked at this man who saw her, truly saw her, and loved what he found. "I love you too," she whispered. "God help me, I do." When Ethan proposed 3 months later, with Isla's enthusiastic approval, the media had a field day. The headlines were predictable and often ugly. But there were also voices of support, celebrating their love story as a triumph over prejudice. Their wedding was small and intimate, attended by those who truly mattered, including Ethan's sister Claire, who'd flown back to stand by her brother's side against the rest of the family. Isla served as flower girl, beaming with pride in her beautiful dress. As Ethan and Lyanna exchanged vows, they knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. They'd face discrimination, judgment, and obstacles that came from both their different backgrounds and his disability. But they also knew something more important: love, real love, was worth fighting for. Ethan returned to his company with renewed passion, making it more successful than ever. Lyanna enrolled in college, pursuing her own deferred dreams while being an incredible mother to Isla. Together, they established a foundation supporting single mothers of color pursuing education and careers in technology, turning their story into a force for change. Victoria and Marcus eventually faded from their lives, their bitterness their own punishment. And in the mansion that once felt like a prison, Lyanna and Ethan built a home filled with love, laughter, and the unshakable belief that courage and connection could overcome any prejudice. This story reminds us that love sees no color, no status, and no limitations, only the content of our character and the courage of our hearts. What did you think of Lyanna and Ethan's journey? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and share this story with someone who needs to hear it today.